This time to apologize for Mark Driscoll. Joel Denver.
Let's hear it for Bobby Poe. Busts his ass to bring this to us every year. We love you, Bobby.
Tis the Hotbacks panel. We have an esteemed panel of experts here, and we're going to introduce them, and we're going to get down to this, maybe make some dents and some problems out there today. We'll start down at the back end over here. From RCA Records, Vice President Pop Promotion, it's Skippy Bishop. From TICFM in Hartford, Assistant Program Director, Music Director, and Midday Personality, Dana London. Director of West Coast National Pop Promotion for Epic Records, it's Susie Sponder. Mix 107.3, Hometown DC, it's Linda Silver, Music Director. It's Mercury's National Promotion honcho, Don Coddington. WPGC Assistant Program Director, Afternoon Driver, Paco Lopez.
Wait a minute. I just wanted to say we want to thank you all for coming out and for being here, especially after the last panel. My name is Paco. I'm the token spick at the Coon Station, PGC.
Okay, and we have Reprise's National Promotion Director, Pop and Crossover Promotion, Nancy Levin. Did I get the title right? Yay, all right. From the Power Pig in Tampa, Hawk Harrison. Fabio! From Geffen Records, National Promotion Director, based in Atlanta, George Capolini. Q102 Philadelphia, Music Director, Assistant Program Director, it's Glenn Kalina. Atlantic Records Vice President Pop Promotion, Joe Iannello. Assistant Program Director, Music Director, Kiss 108 Boston, it's Cadillac Jack McCartney. MCA Director, East Coast, National Promotion, it's Paul Barrett from Boston. Al BD, need no more to say, man, you know where he's at. Yo, Ming. And Greg Lee, National Crossover Promotion Director for Warner Brothers Records. I will say one thing, that one of the things Jay Stevens said was extremely important and extremely correct. Maybe this issue of the problem between this little war that's going on between the record companies internally and how it's affecting these gentlemen and ladies up there on this podium, it was not necessarily the place in that last panel. But however, this is the place. This is the hot box, and we're going to get into this issue right here.
And we see a lot of racism, and I have to go back to...
In our industry?
Yeah. I have to go back into what the last panel, what happened when Mark Driscoll called PGC basically a coon station. Basically, I mean, you look at a station like PGC that has blacks, Cuban and Italian, whites, and all different kinds of people. The station knows no color. By the way, we vote for LBD in Billboard, Air Personality, major market of the year. Thank you very much. In any case, you see the station that has really no color, and we're programming to a market that's predominantly black. When you look at the Washington Post, for example, in the last month, they list the top 20 selling singles in the city, and the first 2 months that we tracked it, we were 20 for 20, and just this past weekend, I wish I would have brought it, it was 18 for 20. 18 of the 20 songs, the biggest selling songs in the city, are the songs we're playing.
When a record is leaked, the promotion department sometimes is not the least bit close to being responsible. Leaks come from A&R, leaks come from shipping, leaks come from the factory, and we don't like them any more than you do, simply because they put us in situations where, we may, get in a bag of shit with you. We don't want to do that. We don't want to piss off any radio station that's got big ratings. But I think that when we start pinning this thing on a racial issue, we're doing the wrong thing.
At Warner and Reprise, we've been having, with the black department and the pop department, we have meetings every other Wednesday. and we go over all the shit, and we talk it all out, and we do the right thing. You know, we will burn in any given market the urban station if they were not the ones to support the record. I mean, it's just to have the guts to do the right thing is the important thing.
And, you know, we had a situation recently, and I had to say, look, it's not a black thing, and it is not a white thing. It is a green thing. It's about making money.
Right.
It's about business, okay? And that's just basically all it is. They have all the rights to protect what is rightfully theirs, just like you do, just like we do. And if the pop department or the record company that you're talking about isn't standing up for you, you should have that discussion with them.
Where do we send the artist first? The urban department wants to send the artist. We'll use Philadelphia as an example, and I got into a heated debate on this with Def Jam within my company about what we should do. Now, IOQ. Basically, the format that you're doing right now is it's pretty new what you're doing, relatively new, your approach right now. Now, in Philadelphia, Power 99 has been doing that format for how long?
11 years.
Exactly.
Not the same format. I totally disagree. They don't have the same format.
Let me finish my point, okay? The point is they have been doing that, and I got into the exact debate with the urban department that this is a heritage radio station. They've been doing this for so long. This is how things have always been. And I disagree. I argued vehemently. We ended up not sending LL Cool J. Unfortunately, the artists suffer, the town suffers. IOQ was playing the record first in town. USL came on and played the record afterwards. IOQ was playing the record 7 times a day. USL was playing it 2 times a day. They believe because they are the heritage urban radio station, they should always get the artist first, the tickets first. You know what? I'm not necessarily sure that they're wrong. Okay, I don't necessarily think they're right. But the bottom line is, you know, we could sit here, if you'd like to, for the next 2 hours and get nowhere. The fact is, it's up to the record companies to, like you said, communicate with the record companies. So what do we do?
Not send the artist out on tour? Not send them to do
you know
dates
what?
or
Honestly,
anything? Everybody suffers.
Make that decision because you threaten, and then Kiss threatens, and then what do?
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Everyone loses,
do you not send them out? And do you not send them out? And does everybody suffer in the case?
You do the right thing. Again, if it's a situation where you can't decide because you feel it's equal, then you take care of both radio stations.
But the fact is you can, right, and you know what? You cannot, Jay cannot get on the phone and threaten, well, guess what? This is what, you know what? Sometimes you give and you take, okay?
I personally, and I can't speak for anybody else, I want to give and take. That's where I think it becomes easier for everybody. This is not brain surgery, and there are many more important things out there, but our job is our job, and we're doing it, but let's do it with a little less headache and a little less red tape and things like that, and if we all start doing that, learning to give and take a little bit, you guys have to learn to give and take, so do we. I agree with that, 100%.
This thing about bringing artists by, which station do you bring them by first? Again, we're talking about shit. It doesn't really matter. You're talking about hours here. If they go by a heritage station 2 hours before they come by my station, then my thing is this. The next time you bring a major artist through on a promotional tour, I want them first. Half of something is better than nothing of something.
This is masturbation for the people in this room. It doesn't make any difference. He's right. If you play a record and your competitor has it 15 minutes or a fucking week before, it doesn't make any difference. The audience doesn't know. Walk out on the street here and ask the average idiot that walks by here if he knows any of the records in the top 10 on Billboard. Probably not. He might know the song. Those are records that are supposedly hits already. You want to talk about a brand new record that nobody's heard before? You think because you're getting a couple of phone calls on your request lines it makes a big fucking difference? You think because a couple of thousand records sell someplace it makes a difference? You're talking about nitpicking bullshit that the people in this room are concerned with, and nobody that's listening to the radio cares. Start thinking like listeners.
One of the gurus of marketing, recent Trout, say research is best at measuring the past. And I think too often programmers get stuck in their research and rely too much upon what's going on in what went on in the past in their market and fail to be out there on the streets.
The information we get, same as Coca-Cola, same as any major company that does a lot of research, shows us that, you know, we're not talking about single records here, but we're talking about a trend. Our listeners that we care about all the rhythmic records rise to the top, and all of the rock records or the white records fall right to the bottom. So a record that BCN might be able to play, a record that FNX might be able to play, a record that other stations in the market might be able to play, we might not be able to play, even though it's a big selling record.
Well, I really don't think we need to be calling, ourselves black or white radio stations. Why don't we just call like successful radio stations or unsuccessful radio stations? I mean, we are like, we're like early 60s here. Well, he's black, he is white, he gets it first because I'm white, I'm black. This is crap, folks. I mean, we've got to deal with what's working, and like Greg said, it's a green issue. We're all in business here.
Every week when we add music, I put out an information sheet on the artist and the song. A lot of times I'm pulling my hair out trying to get information from the record company about the artist to give my jocks something to talk about. It helps you, it helps expose your product, and it helps to sell your product. Help us do the right thing.
I would love to walk out of this room today, okay? And I would love everyone else to walk out of this room today so they can want to come back next year, okay, and other seminars, conventions, whatever it is, and feel like they got something when they walked out of this room, as opposed to talking at the bar how ridiculous the conversation was. So maybe we can find a topic, okay, and get something out of it right now.
This industry is dysfunctional in communicating with itself.
Right. Joel is totally right. We sit there and we piss and moan about stupid shit in here, and the real reality is we've got a format that needs to get off its fucking ass, or everybody in this room is going to be out of here. Well, it needs to be entertaining once again, okay? Information Highway is just one of those things that's going to be here, okay? It's totally there. If you haven't read about it, I'll send you some information about it. It's in your televisions.
The music is better now. It's more diversified. And I think it's on a way to recovery. I think we've got kind of a gloom attitude, and we've got to have a better attitude to start with.
I think what Michael's trying to say, I'll try to answer. I'm not a radio guy, but I know that I have a normal life, and I was very inspired. I don't know if Daniel Glass is still in this room, but I was very inspired what he was saying, and I totally agree. You do have to have a life, and it is extremely sad that it really stuck a nerve for me when he was talking about people going to a movie that you're not involved in or you don't have the soundtrack on. We've got to make it interesting so that it is a priority for them. They have lives. They've got to pay their bills. We've got to find a way to draw them back into it. I know what it was like when we grew up and listened to radio, what Daniel was saying about the first time you heard record XYZ on the radio.
I wanted to bring up the point about communication. I think that is the key thing. We sit in this room, we talk for, an hour and a half, we'll go out to the bar, we'll have drinks. But the key thing is what happens when we leave this room today is what's going to make this industry grow. If we don't talk from the time we leave here to next year, we are going to accomplish nothing. True. Nothing. All right? What happens is when we leave here, we need to take the calls. Radio needs to take the calls. Record needs to take the calls. We need to work together to solve these problems. We talked about the black-white thing. I tend to disagree with you, Dave Allen, the black-white thing. You have white listeners, we have black listeners, you have black listeners, we have white listeners. You cannot be a black radio station, you cannot be a white radio station. You should be urban radio stations. There is no such thing as a black-white, and I hate that label, to tell you the truth.
The bottom line, when you start doing that, when you start doing that stuff, who is playing the better hits? Who plays the better hits? And who has the better numbers?
Who has the better numbers? A station that believes that we are one world, one nation, and no one can be a black radio station or a white radio station.
What I think we need to go back and do once we do leave this meeting is to think about how to step out of the box that we have put ourselves into in the way we do things, the way we've been doing things, and how we're going to do things for the future, because the world is changing real fast. So if you leave with nothing today other than that thought, that might help you make yourselves a winner in this coming year. Have yourselves a good evening. Let's go kick some butt at the convention tonight.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 22nd Annual Bobby Poe Convention. I'm Mason Dixon, and I hope all of you have had a thoroughly good time the last couple of days. You played a lot of golf, did a lot of sightseeing, worked a lot of brand new artists, signed some new artists, picked up some new air personalities for your radio station, figured out a few new ways to program your radio station, and did all those things that we're supposed to do at the Bobby Poe. He's like our dad. He's the grand old dad in the music business. Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Poe.